Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines, coming to you from the West Coast. Josh Lander, joined by my guy Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. We're looking at a pretty fun Friday night slate here to end out this week with you guys. In this one, we are taking a look at the 76ers taking on the Cavs. Those new look 76ers looking pretty hot, so we'll take a look at some of the best bets in this one. Nate does have his great article up as well on playpicks.com with some best bets and player props in there for you. And make sure to like and subscribe to that page, as we got a couple other game videos up for you, including that player props video we love to bring you each and every weekday. And as always, if you do still need a FanDuel or DraftKings account, head to fdpicks.com or dkpicks.com and find those listings in your area, such as what we've got for tonight. Nate, let's get into it.
Yeah, just like 2 nights ago, I'm looking at that Sixers over, and where it opened at 219.5. I was actually surprised that was low. I'm surprised now it's been bet down, and I grabbed it at 216. Now there is some sharp action getting it up to 218 at DraftKings, but the spread is holding pretty steady at 7.5 with Philly hosting the Cavs here tonight. I know the Cavs have a reputation for going under, but we'll talk about why we still think it might go over here. There are several other games here to look at on a big Friday night. The Pacers -2.5 at Pistons. The Hawks are back-to-back there, -4.5 at the Wiz. Bucks -5 at the Bulls, who just lost to the Hawks last night. Game total is 240.5 there, and we will break that one down for you in a separate episode. Magic are +8 at the Raptors. The Wolves are -9.5 at the Thunder, just upset the Nuggets in Denver. Jazz -4 at the new look Pelicans. Rockets +14 at those Nuggets. And then your New York Knicks +7 at Phoenix as they quest on without Chris Paul. The Sixers, I tell you, basically can get a game over on their own right now because with James Harden, they're pretty reliably scoring around 127 points per game. They are on pace, in 2 games against the lowly Knicks to be maybe the greatest offense ever in the regular season if they can keep up this pace. They've now gone over in all 3 games with Harden by an average of 9.5 points per game. Their pace is up considerably to 100.5 possessions per game. And they're getting the free throw line at a league high clip now, 38 attempts per game, hitting 86% of that. Also, the most key stat here as you go up against Cleveland, shooting 42.5% from 3 in those 3 games. And Cleveland, as we mentioned 2 nights ago when they played Charlotte and gave up 119 to a struggling team that lost LaMelo Ball, Cleveland is the worst 3-point defense in the league for now a 7-game span. They've gotten even worse lately. Their defensive rating is up near 117. That's 5th worst, while they've dropped 5 of their last 7 and failed to cover in 6 of those. They just got passed by the Celtics for the 5th spot in the East. The shine is starting to come off this feel-good story. The thing that scares me is that their offense, they couldn't even get to 100 against the freaking Cavs the Hornets. And that is why we had a surprise under there. Just by 1 or 2 points. Hornets obviously did their part. So I would be a little worried about the Cavs coming along here, but I think with Darius Garland now in his 2nd game back after that back injury, he'll be going up against Harden and Maxey, 2 guys who are definitely more known for their offense. Garland had some good numbers in his last outing against Philly. He's averaging nearly 27 and 9 assists in his last 6 road games. I would look at the little special you can get at DraftKings for him to get 30-plus points assists is +135, and his points prop is pretty low at 19.5. You're getting bad odds there, but he's probably going to get 20 here. It's really, on him and on these wings to try to keep pace with Philly. I hope Cleveland knows that they're not going to have a chance in this game trying to play a 98-102 game or whatever, because you have to score with the Sixers right now. I don't think you want to ramp up the pace and necessarily play completely into their hands, but on the road, you're going to have to bring it. And with LeVert out now, they're playing all 3 of these wings, these clunky wings, as you might call them, Lauri Markkanen, Kevin Love, and Cedi Osman. All 3 of those guys with an individual defensive rating of 128 or higher in their last 2 games. Love and Osman both with excellent offensive ratings. Kevin Love is a 141 offensive rating in that span. Markkanen, not so much at 88 offensive rating, but the Cavs, I think, can find enough offense against these Sixers who, even though they've been elite on offense in their last 9, they've gone over in 7 of those games because they have a below average defensive rating at 111. They're still giving up 48 and a half paint points since integrating Harden in this span. Mostly just limiting threes and fast break points, but that's not Cleveland's game either. And I mean, the reason that the total is being bet down and it is this low is because they just beat Cleveland 103-93 at home, but that was obviously before the James Harden era, and we're just seeing a different vibe here. I think if you are scared of the Cavs coming along, you can just bet that team total for the Sixers again at 112.5. You're only getting minus 120 there, but I personally like the money line with the Sixers and the over here. I would also consider teasing it down if you get the over a little lower and you get the Sixers at minus 3.5. I don't think you need that for them to cover, but I do worry about the Cavs again scoring 100 points against anyone right now the way they're positioned.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the points I don't like for them. I don't think that they can hang with Philly in this one either. We know they lost by 10, as you mentioned, just about a couple of weeks ago, middle of February. But at the same time, their road games as of late are pretty indicative of, I think, what's going to happen in this one. I mean, they lost to the Pistons, they lost to the Hawks, giving up 124. They lost to those Sixers, who were still playing at a much slower pace than giving up 103. But yeah, and then at the Pacers, obviously going over there as well. I think the over is fine. I mean, I think we both are okay with getting the Sixers points total either way as well. If you just want to hit their team total in this one, which I believe it's about 109 or so, right? So I think 108.5, 109.5. Yeah. So I mean, either way, like. Is that where they're at? On DraftKings? Yeah. Okay. So either way, like 112, I mean, I would take them up to like 115, to be honest, at their team total. So I think that's around what they're going to score tonight. I think I'm not scared of that 7.5. To your point, the only thing we're really scared about are the Cavs going to come along, on this offensive output that we know we can expect from Philly at this point. I mean, why not? At Philly, probably 120 points would be completely understandable for them as well in terms of their team total, what they'd be able to score tonight. You talk about their offense. It's historically good at this point in just 3 games. But I mean, it's not surprising that, on the season, they are the second already before Harden got there. They had the second best free throw rate, attempt rate in the game at about 27% of their possessions. They're at 48% of their possessions right now in terms of their free throw attempt rate each time down the floor. I think, that's something that you can continue to expect. Obviously, it's best in the league to that point. Those 3-pointers going way up as well, something that I like for them. I mean, this is now much more of a James Harden looking team. The only thing that's really surprising is in those 3 games, they're dead last in points in the paint and percentage of their points in the paint. In that time, they're scoring 31% of their points in the paint. Like I said, good for dead last in those 3 games. But they're hitting those 3-pointers at an incredible clip, and that's really going to keep your offense in any single game at that point. As they're scoring that many, that high of a percentage, much higher, in terms of 36% of their points off 3-point in their last 3 games. That's much higher than it was even when they had the likes of Seth Curry out there firing away and even Korkmaz with him. So I think in this one, you're looking at the 76ers as a team that is trending in the complete right direction. I think they're better than we even all thought that they would be. People being worried about Joel Embiid being a roller to the basket. We're talking about the most athletic 7'3", 285-pound person probably ever to live. Maybe, LeBron if he was it's only 6'9", same weight. But either way, Joel is just unstoppable right now. There's no reason to think that he can't continue to roll to the basket at the efficiency that he has. There's a pretty great stat out right now of him and Harden playing together, and the percent of success in terms of either a foul or a made basket for Joel Embiid when he's playing on a pick and roll with Harden. They're scoring at like a 72% clip on those plays, which is incredible, right? 3/4 of the time that you run a screen screen and roll with James Harden and Joel Embiid, you're going to get points. I feel great about that. I think, hit their team total at 112.5. I'm fine with the total. If you just want to take, honestly, I'm going to sprinkle a bit on the total and the spread here as well at 7.5. I think you look at the Cavs losing the way that they have to teams that are above 500 on the road in their last 6 or 7 or so. I mean, they've been losing by more than that, by more than 7.5 when they play a team that's above 500 as well. So there's plenty of things here pointing to, Philly's going to be able to score. The Cavs may or may not be able to score, their team total. But like you said, I think Philly gets it over the total of the game by getting their own, easily 115 on their own. And then really the Cavs, you just need 102 and they're still going to lose by that 7.5 point spread.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about Harden's ability in the pick and roll, and it's once again being overlooked how great of a passer he is. As he switches teams and becomes more engaged again, we start to see it. I mean, he's throwing these passes that Embiid even admits he didn't expect to get sometimes, and now he knows he's getting them, and he's getting to the free throw line in a very efficient style. You look at the Cavs in their last 7 road games, too. They're giving up 23 free throw attempts per game, which is way above their season average, and their season average was first in the NBA. So that's part of the reason why the wheels have come off a little bit on this defense. They're allowing 111 on the road in that span, so just a tick below where the Sixers are projected to get here. And as you mentioned, they've gone 2-1-1 to the over their last 4 road games, the exception being at Philly, but the pace is just going to be a lot different now with James Harden in that lineup. The Cavs are still a team that has gone under more consistently, but on the road, they're nearly 500 now at 15-16, just barely going under by an average of 2.5 there. They're also creeping up to getting to the over after a loss. I don't trust them to win this game by any means. They're 2-6 over their last 8 on the road. I think teams are starting to find some things on film that they can do to attack the Mobley, Jared Allen combo down low and apparently to get some wide open looks. And the way Harden's breaking down defenses, I think they'll get great looks both on the interior and on the perimeter against this struggling defense.
Yeah, but I also to give Cleveland some credit in terms of why we think I think that they can score tonight and maintain pace with the 76ers. The 76ers, as good as they are at getting to the free throw line, are the second worst team in their last 3 in terms of giving up free throws. Cleveland 4th best in terms of their free throw attempts. So we're talking about a good amount of free throws here, a good amount of banging it out with big guys like Mobley and Jared Allen. And then obviously Embiid doing his thing. I mean, the Cavs haven't covered in their last 6 games total. I think this is a little bit more indicative of who they are once, you start taking some key guys out of the lineup for them as well. And Mobley potentially hitting that sort of rookie wall at this point where he's never played this many games in a regular season in his basketball career. We've seen his numbers, especially on offense, dip a little bit. So I think, easily we feel great about Philly winning this game. I'm fine with that spread. And I'm honestly fine with that total as well, as I think both these teams can score at least enough on each other to get over a measly 216.5. So that is all the time we have for you in this one. Make sure you are liked and subscribed to that page and check out those other couple videos we have for you on this big Friday night slate. And until we see you next, happy betting.